A new day, a new chance to finally finish this massacre. So we essentially have 3 fittings or 3 connections that are left, and then we can finally fill it. We know that it boots, we know that it works. So far so good. Now 3 of these, and then we can fill it and hope for the best as far as performance is concerned. I would say let's start with the easy one. I hope the easy one, which is going to be this, or at least I hope so. And I believe I can even just keep it really short this time. Something like this. Yeah, looks fine. Now I just need to somehow close this up. And yes, all of the fittings were already scratched due to a previous build I did a long while ago. So those black Alpha Cool fittings, once you scratch them, it's like a bit of a coppery color underneath, and that it has something to it. I do kind of like it, but that's a different topic. Okay, now the final 2. Oh, we are almost done. We are almost done. So what's the best way? I have no clue what that was. What's the best way of handling these? Because the thing is, I need to somehow make this turn. And this is going to be a really hard one. I don't want to do like something like this, otherwise I would just break stuff. The other one is going to be easier. That I can do somehow like this, that works. Not necessarily aesthetically pleasing, but it will do. Yeah, I won't be able to fit another 90-degree angle in there. Or will I? If it's a fixed one. Because I can remove this. Because I have more of these 90-degree fittings. And doesn't this work? No, this is a very bad idea. How should I do this? Because like a regular 90, that will never fly, will it? This is no way. Yeah, forget it. The only thing I do have is like a regular 90. Yeah, I will just make the bend long enough so that it fits. I'm basically kind of out of options here. Yeah, and I would just need to allow this to be as long as possible, and that way I can be sure that it doesn't bend itself to a degree where it basically obstructs the water from flowing. Isn't necessarily the nicest looking thing, but if it does the job. I know all the fittings are scratched, they were already scratched before. And now the last one. Whew. We are done. Oh no, we are done with the easy part. Now comes the hard part. How are we going to fill this? If you've watched all the episodes, we have a water block on the CPU, a water block on the GPU, red and red. What we don't have is a reservoir. We have a pump, of course, that's on the water block, but we don't have a reservoir, so I have no option to easily fill this loop and easily drain the air out of it. So that's going to be a huge problem. My best option so far, which I'm not so sure how well this will work, is that the top radiator is basically open in the top. I can access both of the additional, because the Alpha Cool Red has basically holes on both sides. So we have these 2 here, and on the other side we have the tubes that are connected. Oh no, I think I did a huge mistake here. I routed the cable kind of the wrong way, but I can fix it. It does like a very sharp turn, basically closing because of the power connector of the PSU, but normally if I disconnect this one, pull it the other way, okay, now it's fine. Okay, now everything is back to being fine. So in the top we have these 2 holes, and my best idea was to open them both and then just fill up the loop slowly and just hope that the air drains by itself, a couple of times power cycle it, and then just basically hope for the best, because I'm kind of out of options here, to be honest. But we will try that and see how it works. So let me get everything. Another thing with this build that I don't know if you have noticed, everything is black. It's black with black and a bit more of black. The tubes are black, all the components are black, so you see where this is going, and I wanted to basically use the rest of this Go Chiller premix that I still have, which is a great coolant. I never had any issues with it, but what it also is great at creating a giant mess, which is why we need to be really careful with it, because like stains off the table, you can basically repaint the table. Even like sanding it down doesn't solve the issue. It's a mess, believe me there. T-shirts, everything, skin. It takes months for stains from Go Chiller to go away. It's really crazy. So what I'm going to do is prepare like a little area. How did somebody say in the comments? Leftover Corona toilet paper, exactly. And just hope that we don't spill anything, but if we do, I am prepared. Now let's open the top part and then just hope for the best. But I want to turn this around so that you can basically see the GPU and see when this whole thing starts to fill up. Is something in the GPU? No, there is nothing in the GPU. Oh, there is stuff in the GPU. There is stuff in this GPU. You know what would be a smart move? If I very slightly tilt the case up, like here. Because that way it will move down the radiator and maybe even down the whole radiator path before reaching like maximum level and spilling out here. Oh. I seem to have reached some sort of max. Because there is stuff inside the GPU. How can I force it? I think I need to turn the thing on. I don't think I have another option. Or at least for like a split second, just so that it pushes through. And maybe I already prepare more coolant. Okay, but before I start the loop, I need to close these two. Otherwise it will just shoot out in the top. I don't think you fully understand the level of fear that is in me, because I know how devastating stains of this coolant are. Please do not shoot up or out anywhere. I need more toilet paper at this point. Yeah, there was a small leak around the CPU block. I tightened both fittings that I found here and just hope for the best at this point. But they didn't leak before, so it's just under pressure. So let's continue filling the loop and we'll see later on if the issue persists now. Okay, that wasn't too much to fill, but okay, I guess. Another round of wish me good luck. Okay, round number 3.
1 hour later.
Oh boy, this took significantly longer than I expected. We had leaks all over the place. I have no clue how often you can reuse the same fittings before stuff starts to wear off, but apparently it's not forever. However, what's interesting, it was never on the block. It's always on the radiators. The in and out of every radiator started to spill quite an amount of liquid out, and I needed to tighten them up with tools, which then of course ripped off a lot of paint. But to be honest, I like it. I like that there is like a coppery goldish color underneath. Gives the whole thing like a bit of a rusty vibe. I do like it. But so far, now it's done, it's filled. There is probably a lot of air left in the radiator in the top, which I will need to bleed over the span of weeks. That will take a very long time, and I need to run the PC upside down because the top radiator in this case now doesn't have any fill ports on the top. So I really need to, you know, put the whole thing on its head and then let it run for weeks, and then from time to time open up the radiator, refill whatever air was in the top, and then do that over and over again, which would take way too long. But the PC is done. It's bled as far as I could. Everything is connected, everything is ready. Now it's time for the last touch, because the upside of now having all of this fancy looking stuff and now having air come in the bottom and then out in the top is that using glass makes sense. Oh my god, is this... So now let's close this up and finally finish this build. Number one, how unsatisfying. Number two, and this turned out awesome. We were able to fit everything in what I wanted to fit in. We had a dual red system, we have a block on the GPU on the 3070, we have a giant Aquanaut Extreme on the CPU. The cooling performance is just awesome. Running CPU Z, stress test and Firmark at 4K, 8 MSAA, the whole blast that I have on the USB drive, we are looking at roughly 75 degrees on the CPU and about 82 on the GPU, and that is without me touching any fan curve. It's just whatever the ASRock BIOS does. It's cool enough that I don't care. For the GPU, we had hotspots running above 90 but never above 93, which isn't perfect. I would have preferred to have it lower, and I guess the shenanigans that we did with the thermal pads were not that perfect, so maybe I will redo that sometime later, but for now it runs. Running Firmark at 4K, yeah, of course it's hard. But the whole system is cool. It is cool, it is quiet, or as quiet as it can be. Of course, with a bit more space in the bottom, maybe it would have been a bit colder, but as a whole system, I'm very happy with the result. For now, no leakage anymore, everything is tight and sealed, everything, and it just looks awesome. I think this looks awesome, just like on the table, right next to a monitor. Yeah, the awesome gaming PC in a size and form factor which is just minuscule. This thing turned out perfectly fine. Not everything is as cool as I wanted it to be, like for example the whole area next to the GPU. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of having that cable dangling there, but right now I'm just out of options. Maybe at some time if I get like a distribution plate I would slap that on there, maybe, but I don't have one right now at hand. And on the other side we have basically the same issue, where in the bottom we have all of that cabling going on from the PSU, which I just can't hide it because there is nowhere to hide it anymore. All of the space is used and I couldn't route it to like lose some cable length because then it is just too short, or where would I route it? I can't do anything about that. The other part is the cables coming out underneath the pump and the water block, which, yeah, that's like the quickest route, however it's visible. And I'm just not the biggest fan, but what can you do? But the whole thing is black with black and more black. And although the GPU theoretically has RGB, somewhere in between last using it and today I ripped off one of the cables. So I decided to just rip off the whole thing and then get rid of the cable, and there is no ARGB anymore. But I don't care because the whole thing is black with black and more black, so I'm fine with the color scheme. As far as this little piece of gaming hardware is concerned, it is done. I'm taking it home to play some Minesweeper at 1000 FPS because why the hell not? But for today, I'm just happy that this turned out fine. I'm happy that we have the 240 reds in there, and to be honest, maybe a 280 would have somehow fitted in there. I'm not so sure, but I'm glad that I didn't gamble on this one. 240s are cooling everything down pretty fine. So at this point, another huge thank you to Nuvolo for sending over that Aquanaut Extreme. It does look hella extreme. But for today and for the Aquanaut PC, this was it. And if you want to continue watching, have a look at our series where we built the octopus, which just the thing is that there is nothing normal about this thing. But I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching and hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.